Central returns. You'll meet a man who nearly lost his life, only to bounce back in pursuit of a playing career. Doug Johnson's story, an incredible one, and it isn't over yet.
Doug Johnson, with wife Sandy on the bag, has been plying his trade on the professional tour since the early 80s, chasing the dream of a PGA Tour win. But in 2008, Doug's long and difficult journey took a devastating twist.
If you don't win, no one knows who you are. I could probably say I've played in every tour minus Asia. I've played in every state open in the United States. I've gone to the school more than any human ever. I've been to the tour schools about 26 times, I think, counting the European tour school that I went to once. And because every year I had my card on the PGA Tour, I would lose it and I'd have to go back.
$38,856. Johnson's career earnings over 24 years on the PGA and nationwide tours. In August 2000, he turned 50 and a new door opened on the Champions Tour. But the same story continued for the quintessential Journeyman. He earned the nickname Mr. Monday for the record number of times he came through Monday qualifying. In 2005, things began to change. Doug turned his attention to Europe, came through the senior qualifying school, finished 37th on the Order of Merit the following year, and continued his good form in 2007.
It's hard to believe it took me 30 years to have a great year and have top 3 finishes back to back. Midway through the year, when I knew I was about 18th on the money list on the Order of Merit, I thought, my gosh, I'm going to have a card next year. I don't have to go to school. And it was like you took this world and lifted it off my shoulders.
We were so excited. They had some new events. We were going to go to Moscow, and we were going to go to Prague and Poland, and then all the other events in Switzerland and Spain.
But he never made it to the intriguing destinations that lay waiting. He played the first 2 tournaments of 2008, then on April 19th.
My brother's van, we tried to get it started.
The old way is always pour gasoline in the carburetor. And Doug had made the statement, now let's be careful, nobody gets hurt.
I had some gas that I was going to pour in the carburetor if it didn't fire up.
Motor is sitting right here, and poured it in and reached for the key like this, and it was an instantaneous woof.
And the entire ignition of that was like an atomic explosion, came out of that 5-inch carburetor hole.
And he came popping out, just screaming, help me, help me.
I jumped out of the van, and I was on fire, and all I remember saying is, help me, somebody put me out.
And I threw him to the ground and just tried to beat out his clothing and rolling him in the dirt, and the skin was just rolling up, and I'm trying to put out the front of his shorts and all around his shorts, and they were nylon, so ripstop nylon, so it was totally flammable.
Finally got the flames out, and because there was so much gas that got involved and it lit up so quick, there were so many spots to put out you didn't know where. And I remember seeing my arms hanging and everything, the skin hanging, and it was a horrendous. It was like one of those monster movies that I would seen as a kid that I won't watch again.
He was burnt so much that it was hard to pinpoint what's going to be worse here. What do I cover? What do I take care of?
So we got him in the car, and I drove him 20 miles to the hospital, just going as fast as I could, put my flashers on, and ran every red light for 20 miles.
Doug was immediately transferred from the Monroe Regional Medical Center to Shands Burns Center at the University of Florida.
They didn't tell us until later that they'd almost lost him on the table that first night, and they had questions about whether they were going to be able to save his leg or not.
Doug remained in hospital for 21 days, undergoing multiple skin grafts and the excruciating pain of having the dead skin scraped from his burnt body. During this dark time, it was the game he loved and the people within it that kept him going.
I never lost sight, even as ridiculously I couldn't move, I couldn't get out of bed, and every day I kept telling the nurses and the doctor. Every morning he'd come in and he'd say, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm doing fantastic. I think I can be out of here in a few days. I said, we only got 4 weeks now till the PGA Championship, and I said, I'm playing in that.
The doctors told him it would be 2 years before he would play again. But Doug worked twice as hard, spending up to 10 hours a day rehabbing. Now, 9 months after the accident, he's back.
I always knew he would play golf again.
He's going to be back. And I don't expect him not to win once or twice this year.
Since I got burnt, it is absolutely a journey. The people that I've surrounded myself with or that have been supportive, I didn't realize how many people I had touched or been touched in my life, and there were 1,000 calls minimum, or I have a package of letters like Santa Claus. It's just, I had made so many friends that I didn't know I made. There's a silver lining, and I didn't have to die to find out how many people cared about me and how many people you touched in the world.
This month, Doug will try to continue the tradition of Mr. Monday as he attempts to gain a spot in the field for the Champions Tour's Allianz Championship. The European Seniors Tour have granted him a medical exemption for 2009. He'll play their first tournament in Brunei starting February 27th. Reporting for Gulf Central, I'm Tom Abbott.